Wednesday. Hump day. Hump day.
Another Florida guest tonight, but we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to talk fishing a little bit tonight because our guest, Mike, he's a he has a charter business, right?
Yeah.
I think he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. He gets to fish for a living. A little jealous of that.
And former military. Very appreciative of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we were talking about this, and let's just start the show, and then we'll get into the intro part of it.
Okay.
All right, let me start the show.
Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast with your host, Brett Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
So my buddy, he's a former Marine. He's my dad's age. He grew up with my dad, so I call him my buddy now. He comes into town generally twice a year, maybe. If not, it's always at least around Thanksgiving time he comes into town. And we always go to his house and play poker till like 1 o'clock in the morning. And he robbed me of about $70 because I kept betting against Michigan, and he's a huge Michigan fan.
For football?
Yeah, in football. So I bet that Alabama would beat them. Well, first I bet Ohio State would beat Michigan. So I had to pay him I had to pay him $50 for that. And then I bet him $20 that Alabama would beat Michigan in the playoffs. Lost that bet. Then I lost the other bet of them not beating Washington. Lost that bet. So I was like, shit, I'm out like $140 to him already. So, but I guess kind of payback because we were playing 21 and everyone deals like he had a max of like 3 times. He was dealing and he said his max bet of unlimited. And usually everyone kind of goes like maybe $5. He said unlimited. So I said, fuck it. $20 each time. And guess what? I hit on 21 all 3 fucking times. He's like, damn it. And then that's not on top of him having to pay everyone else that lost. So that was kind of funny.
That's cool. Yeah, I think you'd probably be safe to bet against Michigan this year.
Oh, heck yeah.
I don't think they're going to be as dominant.
No, they got to play Texas. They're going to lose that game because Texas is returning a lot of their players. They're going to lose. They have to lose Ohio State because everyone they just picked up in the transfer portal. They're definitely going to lose to my team of Oregon because we just fucking killed it and everything. And
you think Oregon's going to be tough this year?
It's going to, in my opinion, it's going to come down to Oregon and Ohio State for the Big Ten championship. And I'm not saying it because
That's
I'm
weird
biased.
saying that.
I'm not saying it because I'm an Oregon fan. I really not. If I was, and I truly do mean that. I think Oregon would win it only because they are returning a lot of their defensive players. They're filling in a lot of holes that they lost in the draft, and they didn't lose a lot of players to the transfer portal. They gained from the transfer portal more than anything.
But what about the replacement for Bo Nix? How is he?
Oh, Dylan Gabriel, he's like ranked number 1 or 2 in quarterbacks in the transfer portal and returning to college football. So, and then you add the number 1 wide receiver in Evan Stewart. We've already stacked with wide receivers from the recruiting rankings. We're stacked in running backs. Our offensive line is amazing. We just killed it in the defensive side of the ball in recruiting. Finished top 3, I think, in the country. Ohio State, they picked up some great players in the transfer portal. I don't think they finished that best. I think they finished 5th in recruiting for 2024. It's going to come down ultimately to Oregon and Ohio State, but I still believe Oregon's going to have the upper hand because of the culture that Dan Lanning's building compared to what the culture is in Ohio State. That's just my take on it. I literally could go on about college football.
Well, I'm excited
Like
either way.
fucking hours.
I'm excited just to see the changes in the Big Ten. Really, more competitive games.
Yeah.
It's gonna spoil us as the fan. I don't mind watching those bum matchups where it's like 50-0. That's kind
Yeah.
of fun to see some of the freshmen get playing time, and it's kind of when you get a good feel for the team of
Right.
the overall depth. But I really enjoy those high stakes games, and now the Big Ten is going to have more of them. So
Oh yeah.
it's
Yeah.
going to be good for the viewer for sure.
So real quick for the listener listening, Jason is going to be coming back more on a frequent basis. Right as of right now, we call him the part-time co-host because of his work schedule. But he's going to come back on the show more frequently from what it sounds like. And I think we just need, he's not a huge college guy. He's more of a hockey guy, and that's understandable. But I think we're going to do like a special show of just talking about college football. And then we're going to be doing a special show. We're going to try to, of a special show of watching the draft and commentating on the draft. But that is down the road. We'll try and figure out when we're going to be doing those shows, because I know Dan's up for the draft. I know that one at least.
Yeah. I think like a draft selection party would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Especially for me being a Bears fan, with them having that first pick.
Me being a Chargers fan, we have the 5th pick.
So you're one of them Harbaugh Kool-Aid drinkers?
No, I was a Chargers fan growing up, and my dad was a Chargers fan because of our buddy. He's from San Diego, so we just kind of grew up liking the Chargers, and yeah, so I'm a Chargers guy.
That's cool. Oh yeah, imagine that, Justin Herbert.
No, I know. I was so excited to see Justin Herbert get drafted by the Chargers. I was so happy.
Yeah, pretty convenient.
No, I know, right?
Yep.
But yeah. Are you ready to talk some fishing?
I am, man. I'm ready to get educated a little bit on the fishing in southeastern Florida. I know that fishing in Florida is just fire everywhere. So,
Yeah.
but I'm down to talk some fishing. So yeah, let's bring in Mike.
Yeah.
Hey everybody. Hey,
How you
thanks
doing,
for having
Mike?
me on the show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Thanks for taking the time to come on the show.
Pleasure.
So did you happen to do any fishing today by chance?
Yeah.
Actually, the last time I went out was Monday. I went. The conditions were okay, but one of my my buddy's son went with us, and he got sick out there, so we had to come back in. But we caught some fish. So,
What are you targeting this time of year?
so this time of year, targeting sheep's head, pompano, snooker still around, redfish, trout. I mean, we have pretty good wide variety. We catch all kinds of snapper. Cobia are starting to move in. Blackfin tuna have been caught, right off our coast quite frequently the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, you name it, we probably can catch it here.
That's cool. I know that the fish that's on the top of my list that I would like to target down there would be tarpon.
Yeah, tarpon's an interesting fish. I don't generally target them myself. They say you land 1 out of every 10 fish that you hook. And
Because they despool you, or they get off.
They get off. I've had them completely straighten hooks out, break your line. It's a lot of work for one fish. In my opinion.
What do you think is harder to catch, a tarpon or a Goliath grouper?
Goliath grouper by far would be the hardest to pull up.
Okay,
But
that's another one on my list.
At tarpon, you could be on the line for 45 minutes to an hour fighting a tarpon. Goliath grouper, if you don't have it up off the bottom quickly, he's going to break your line every time. So it's a much quicker fight, but you're using a lot heavier gear.
Yeah.
So one of our favorite, my wife and I do a lot of fishing together, and one of our favorite fish to target is actually permit. Love catching permit, and this last year, my wife, she caught a 22-pound permit on 20-pound tests with a 4,000 size reel, which ended up taking her a good bit to get it to the boat. That was probably one of her most memorable fights.
Do you guys like that fish so much because of the of just the sport of it, or do you guys enjoy eating those ones too?
So I enjoy eating fish. I generally go out to put meat in the cooler. I do sport occasionally, but I prefer to put meat in the cooler. And pompano and permit are in the same family, and they're really good eating fish. I know it gets frowned upon a lot of times, keeping permit. Some people, say, "Oh, that's one of our resources," but I don't harvest. I harvested 3 this year. But one fish, 22-pound fish, that gives me a lot of fillets, and so I kind of take what I can, and I release the rest.
That's cool. Yeah, man. Whenever I go down south on vacation, that's one of my favorite parts of vacation is I'm eating seafood as much as I can. Like I'm stuffing my face like 2 meals at least a day. I'm trying to get some fresh seafood.
Well, a lot of people don't realize, how much different fresh seafood tastes compared to getting it in a restaurant. One of my friends came down from Pennsylvania. We went out, we caught a bunch of snapper. We came home, and I made up some fish tacos for him. And my wife's friend, or my friend's wife, doesn't like to eat fish very often, but she loved the fish tacos. And so she's like, "Yeah, it's much better when it's fresh," because 2 hours before we were eating it, they were in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, that meat, those fillets stay nice and firm, and they don't get mushy at all.
Have you ever had sheep's head?
No.
So sheep's head is one of my favorite fish to eat. It's a very firm white meat. You can actually boil it in water, and it stays firm. It has the texture of like a lobster. So I
Wow.
make like sheep's head chowder with it. It's probably one of my favorite meals is making a chowder with it, especially during winter. When it gets cooler here in Florida, it's a nice meal to have.
Chowders, man. That sounds good. We my wife and I went down to Orange Beach, Alabama, for a vacation in October, and they had like a big shrimp festival down there when we were in Orange Beach, and I got some chowder there that was really damn good. All that stuff is good. It's getting me hungry now.
Yeah, I enjoy. Another good one is black and pompano. If you get a chance to have that would be on top of my list too.
So I think I saw something on your Facebook about a bear that you harvested. Was that you that shot a bear?
Not me. My son did.
Oh,
Up in
okay.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool. He harvested a black bear with his bow.
Yes, he did.
Man, that's cool.
So
your son must look
he
like
does a
you
lot
then.
of hunting up in Pennsylvania, and unfortunately, since we moved to Florida, I haven't hunted as often as I would like to. But it's nice seeing my son grow up. It makes me proud.
Oh
Seeing
yeah,
him get out there.
that's one of my goals. I'm trying to get my boys into the outdoors. I, I I can see an interest. They don't really have the attention yet, but I'm at least trying to include them on what I can. I'm trying to pick the fun stuff. Now that my youngest is getting a little bit older, I think this summer I'm going to be able to get him included a little bit more.
How old are your boys?
10, 4, and 2.
Oh, yeah. My kids are 30, 28, and 22.
Okay.
So, and actually none of them live at home. So, once again, I'm proud.
Where are they
Yep.
all at?
2 of them are in Pennsylvania and one's in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Is he in the
wow.
military?
No, my daughter's in Australia. She was actually born and raised in Australia.
Oh, okay.
My first marriage was with an Australian woman, and when I deployed to Iraq, she kind of disappeared with my daughter. That's a long story, but nonetheless, she's still in Australia, and I actually have 2 grandchildren with her. And once she turned 18, she started communicating with me, and started building that relationship a little bit better. So that's been good over the last 4 years.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good to hear.
Oh, yeah. You're going to be really busy once you start having more grandkids.
Yeah, I know. My wife's excited for that. The only downside is we're in Florida. Everybody, in Pennsylvania, and the 2 grandkids in Australia, so we don't get to see them very often. But unfortunately, work brought me down here, and so you kind of mentioned that I was a charter captain. I'm not that by trade. I'm actually a flight test engineer for Sikorsky Aircraft, so I get to test fly helicopters for my real job. Fishing is
Oh,
kind
okay.
of a hobby and a sport. Just have a great passion, and I'm always out and about doing it. I'm fishing probably 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay.
We never got a
So
chance to, hey, Mike, can you introduce yourself and give a quick bio?
Oh, yeah. We got off topic.
We kind of went straight into fishing.
yeah, well, I mean, I
has
love
that
talking
effect.
fishing. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm Mike Schulze. How far back do you want me to go with my bio? Because I'm 50 years old, so I could talk for an hour on myself.
We just something quick, like, hey, this is the
Yeah,
quick.
so as I said, I'm a flight test engineer for Sikorsky Aircraft, so I get to test fly helicopters. I go out fishing. I like hunting. My wife and I hunt and fish together. And then we also 4 years ago, actually this is our 4th year, we started a nonprofit where we use our passion of fishing to teach families how to fish. Our motto is to strengthen the family bonds through the sport of fishing. So we're teaching youth and actually teaching families how, environmental stewardship, how to fish and where to fish, and then we take them fishing. So just I have a real deep passion for fishing and teaching people how to fish and how to catch what I'm catching. I actually, if I take people out on a boat, I'd rather see them catch fish than me catch fish. So generally speaking, I'm not fishing as much as my friends and family who I take out all the time.
I do have a question because it's been dying for me to ask. I grew up, a lot of my family were into fishing. My grandpa, his girlfriend, my grandpa on my mom's side, a lot of fishing in my family, which is surprising. I never went more into fishing. I had just my dad, and we went into hunting. So you think I would have dabbled more into fishing than what I've done? I went on the lake a couple times, but I got seasick so easily. What's a remedy to seasickness?
Dramamine.
So it's hard to say because it's different for different people. I can say I fortunately have never gotten seasick. I fly. It doesn't bother me. But we have taken people out that have gotten seasick. One of the things that we try to do is before we go fishing with people, if we know that they're prone to getting seasick, the night before we go fishing, we have them take a Dramamine the night before, and then we have them take another one the morning of, and that generally helps a lot. And then also, once again, I haven't personally used it, but I do know a couple people that use those magnetic bands, the relief bands around their wrists, and they say that helps them from getting seasick. But I can't say from experience because I've never gotten seasick.
Well, good for fucking you, Mike. And we're all going
if it makes you feel any better, on one of my flights when I was in the military, we were doing search and rescue. We flew for 8 hours through the middle of the night, and at 6 o'clock in the morning, I got sick. I got all the ground pounders out that were helping us try to find the person, kicked everybody out when it was just the air crew. Then I started throwing up in my bag. So, but that's about the closest I had. But I think that was more just pure exhaustion, and who knows what else.
I get like that when I get fatigued and I've just been up for too damn long. I start getting kind of nauseous. That's usually like my cue, like, hey man, time to take a breather and lay down for a little bit.
I get cranky
Oh yeah.
like a bear. Arr, leave me the fuck alone.
But yeah, that I've done that Dramamine before. It's worked for me. I never got seasick. But there was one time where I started feeling like crap, and I pretty much just put my fishing rod down, and I laid down until we went back in. But I have been out before fishing, and I've had no issues. So
Generally, what I tell people if they're starting to get sick is to look at the horizon and try not to pay attention to the waves. Laying down, from my understanding, is probably not the best thing you could do, because once you lay down and you close your eyes, then you start rocking more, and then you lose your equilibrium, and then it just really messes with you. But with that being said, you said you did it, and on Monday, my son's friend, he laid down and said he felt better when he shut his eyes. So, whatever works for you.
Yeah. But
No,
I mean, I've really got to be feeling like crap though to overpower the joy that I get for fishing.
I always is it like, I know seasickness comes from like the uneven of the rocking on the water. Is there more to it than that causes the seasickness?
Sometimes it's when you lose sight of land. Like
Yeah,
once you get out far enough and you're
Uh-huh.
not seeing the land, that messes with people too.
I know, like my son, as soon as my son loses sight of land, he starts getting sick. But you can see him start white knuckling the railing and that, and I think it's more in his head than it is. But as you said, is when a lot of people lose sight of land, they mentally starts hitting them.
Huh.
And then a lot of people who are getting sick, as soon as like on the drive back in, as soon as they see land, that's when they start feeling good again.
Yeah.
It's like a light switch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, or if it once we get in the river, what we call the river is the intercoastal waterway. Once we get into that, generally speaking, everybody I've ever had that has gotten sick on the boat, as soon as we've gotten in the river, they've got they got over whatever, the nauseousness and that, and then we can continue fishing in the river. Just have to change up our strategy once we get back in the river.
Yep. It's usually got to be pretty bad for me to get sick. Yeah. If I know that I'm fishing, like that changes my whole perspective. Like even if I'm scared and uncomfortable about where I am, like the joy for fishing just kind of outweighs that for me.
Yeah, I have one of my friends actually was involved in a car accident a couple years ago, and ever since the car accident, he gets seasick now, and which is unfortunate for him because he used to love going out fishing, and now he can't really do it as often.
Yeah, my wife, she has really bad motion sickness, like to the point where everybody probably thinks I'm an alcoholic because whenever we do anything as a family, my wife is the one driving. Because she can't even ride passenger without getting motion sickness. Like that's why I let her drive all the time. Like I hate riding passenger everywhere we go, but it's not worth, having to pull over every time we're on a hilly road because like that's how easy it is for her to get sick. So I already know like we would never be able to do any type of deep sea fishing together. But
now, could she go like on a boat on a river or?
yeah, like we can inland fish. Like she can hop on a bass boat and we can fish inland. Like that's fine for her. If it was a choppy day or if it was a big lake like Okeechobee or something, I could see her maybe getting sick. But like trolling and just kind of hanging out in the water, she's fine with that. But if we were on the big lake, yeah, or on the ocean, I'd be too much. It's a guarantee she's getting sick.
My wife can't fall asleep in a car.
Period.
Mine can't either.
It's weird. And I was like, as soon as I grew up on road trips, going up from here up to the UP, yeah, that's an 8-hour trip. I did it. I was pretty much a baby, and falling asleep in a car, I like it. It's peaceful to me. I don't know. It is what it is. But then I met my wife, and she told me, she's like, yeah, I can't fall asleep in a car. I said, why? Where it's just a smooth drive and we're just basically on the highway. She goes, nope, I can't do it. I physically can't. So I said, what if you're awake for 12 hours? And she's like, nope, I somehow will still be awake. So first
she's
time
perfect for road trips then.
That's what I was about to say. So we got we're headed down to Chattanooga for our honeymoon. I got extremely tired. So it was me, my wife, and her best friend. She wanted to come down with us. I fell asleep in the car. I was exhausted. She started driving, and there was one point we got stuck in 2-hour traffic. I woke up and was like, are we still here in like Nashville? And she goes, yeah, we haven't moved. We're still stuck in this.
It's always backed up there, it seems.
Yeah. But yeah, as soon as I'm tired, it's just like, all right, I'll drive. But yeah, that's kind of funny how, yeah.
It's probably just because of the motion. It's got to be a motion thing.
Yeah, I know. Like when I moved to Pennsylvania, or from Pennsylvania to Florida, once or twice a year, we would actually drive back to Pennsylvania, and it's a 17 to 24-hour drive. Well, the one time it took us 24 hours because it was during a hurricane and it's just a lot of traffic. But I like to drive. I'll usually leave at like 6 o'clock at night, arrive in Pennsylvania, at like 12 in the afternoon. I like driving in the middle of the night myself.
That's generally how I like to do things too. It's like as soon as nighttime hits, that's when I like wake up, and mainly because I think that's just how I am, and the jobs that Dan and I used to do, we used to be on that shift. So as soon as I like to leave at like 10, 11 o'clock at night, because then that's when everyone else is asleep. No one's on the road.
Yeah.
You just coast down it and enjoy a nice peaceful drive and not have to deal with a whole bunch of people on the road.
Yep. And then when you start, getting close to dozing off, that's when you get to a bigger city and all the shitty drivers are all around you and it wakes you right back up again.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're driving back down to Orange Beach, and we're taking our kids. So that's going to be our first big family road trip. We're going to stop in Nashville though for the night on the way down and the way back. So we'll have
Nashville's a nice place to go.
I like it. We've been there a few times now, and I really enjoy it there.
It was a couple years ago. I had to go to Nashville for work, and we had one of our aircraft on display in the it was the Grand Ole Opry Convention Center, and so I spent 2 weeks in a hotel pretty much while waiting for to get the helicopter back home.
Huh.
Sounds like that
was my first time really in Nashville. So
that sounds like a pretty fun job.
Yeah,
definitely. I could think of worse things to do.
Yeah, I enjoy it, and so because I enjoy it, it's not really much. It's not really work. So, but getting back on some fishing, any specific species that you like to catch or that you want to target other than like tarpon?
Well,
have you heard about snook?
I've heard about snook. I just don't know much about them.
Yeah, snook are a lot of fun to catch, especially when you catch a bigger one. In order to keep them or harvest them, they have to be what we call a slot, between 28 and 32 inches. So a snook was the very first fish I ever caught in my life that I had to throw back because it was too large. It was over 32 inches, so I had to throw it back. And first fish of my life, I had to throw it back because it was too big. But since then, we've caught quite a few big ones. I think the biggest one that we've landed has been 41 inches.
What's the name of this species?
Snook.
Snook?
Yeah,
Snook.
SNOOK.
Sorry, I have to look this fish up.
Yeah, so snook are kind of like the bass fish of freshwater. Those ones, kind of you target. I'm fishing usually with artificial baits or live baits, live croakers, thread fins, things like that to catch the big snook.
Let me see.
Yeah, I would enjoy that. I mean, I just like to fish, and whenever I'm catching fish that are new to me, I'm having fun. So like that's why fishing in Florida is so appealing.
Is this it?
Okay, yeah.
Yes, that is.
Huh.
Oh, and there's 7 different species or subspecies of snook.
There's 7 subspecies of this thing?
Yeah, so you have fat snook, you have spine, was it the sword snook? There's all kinds of different ones. I don't know them all off the top of my head.
Huh. I'm not gonna lie. This is my brain capacity of fish. You got bluegill, pike, smallmouth, largemouth, and crappie, walleye.
Those
and
are all
perch.
freshwater.
I know 7 species of fish.
All of those are
And
freshwater. All of those are freshwater. And
Yeah, so like I said, look up permit.
Permit?
That's one that my wife and I like to catch. My wife's she caught a 22-pound this year.
Is that permit or permit?
Permit. It's just like permit.
Okay.
Permit. Oh,
With
permit, like a permit.
Permit.
Oh, okay. All right, let me look this up. Oh, wow. This is, try and get it to, okay.
Yeah, I've seen people fishing for snook on fishing shows. Grouper, it seems like all grouper, not just the Goliath grouper, but any grouper would be okay.
Yeah. Is there a way that I could share a picture with you?
I don't know if
you
it
do
would
is share
pull
your
up like
screen.
that. You could just like hold up your phone if you have a good picture.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't think that those could get 48 inches long. Permit?
You can't really. With the background I have on, I don't think you could see the picture. But
Can you text it to me?
yeah.
These things look so cool.
Yeah, they look more like your traditional saltwater fish. Another thing I noticed from what little experience I do have fishing out in saltwater, it seems like they all fight really hard.
Huh.
Oh, these do fight. The permit fight really, really hard. And that's why a lot of people target them. Actually, a lot of times they're caught on the flats that people are fly fishing for them. But I catch them with jigging them. I actually jig for them, and
On the
a lot of
bottom?
people say you can't catch them unless you have live crabs or on flies. So I started jigging and catching them with jigs, and so a lot of people are kind of interested in that. So sorry about the delay. I'm trying to find the picture.
Oh, no, you're okay. Man, there's so many other. I knew there was other fish out there in the world. Just
oh, dude, in the
learning
ocean,
so
there's
much.
so many. Like that's kind of why I like fishing in inland freshwater fish, because it's easy to know how to fish them when there's only a handful of species. But when he's fishing, like it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet, man. Like whatever you could think of, it's out there.
So where are
Yeah.
you primarily fishing at? Like
I'm fishing out
lake,
of
ocean?
Fort Pierce. So I'll fish either in the intercoastal, which is what we call the river, which is anywhere from usually 8 to 10 feet deep, to where I've gone out to 23 miles, in 300-400 foot of water.
Yeah, that's where it starts getting fun out there.
That's
Yeah,
not
but
scary.
what's funny is the permit. I catch them in about 30 foot of water, about a half mile offshore.
Okay.
So
At what so like they're usually at like 30 feet, you said?
yeah, they're where I'm catching them. They're 30 foot of water. A lot of people catch them on the flats where they're only in 5-6 foot of water. And they can go even deeper. But like my wife, for 3 years I tried to put her on permit. I caught my first permit 3 years ago, and then for 3 years tried to put my wife on permit. And several times she broke off. Actually, 2 times it straightened the hook out, and 1 time yep, that's the permit.
Oh wow, that's a nice fish
That's
right
actually
there.
the one my wife caught, and if you look in the mouth is the jig I was using, or my wife was using.
Oh, that's a big jig.
Yeah. So she she fought that. It was 13 minutes to get it to the boat. 8 minutes the first time, then it took off and ran for another 5 minutes, and then we got it back to the boat and got it in. So that was a lot of fun.
You said it took 15 minutes to reel that thing in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Oh,
So,
dude, that's nothing.
yeah,
For
I
some
know
of the
people that
fish
have,
out there.
yeah,
What
if you get a tarpon on, you expect, a tarpon, cobia even, expect like 30-40 minute fight, if not longer.
Dan, I'm an idiot.
Why? Why now?
We're finally talking to someone that is mainly fishing stuff, and I didn't even get to hit the fucking "Let's go fishing"
Oh yeah,
segment.
man.
I
Well,
missed
do it
out on
now.
that,
Let's
Dan.
go fishing.
Better late than never.
Can I still hit the button, please? Can I please hit the button, Dan?
Launch it.
Let's go fishing.
So
Yeah.
I just thought of something to ask you, Mike. With you being somebody who's experienced fishing on the ocean, I know that I would be hesitant navigating through such a large body of water. Throughout your experience, have you had any like pucker factors out there? Like, have you ever had any near-death experiences out there?
No, I can't say near death experiences, but I've had a couple instances that had me concerned. Keep in mind, my job is a high stress job, and when you're test flying helicopters for the first time, you kind of start to predict things. I can't say predict them, but you don't get phased by much. And so there was 2 times in the last 7 years that I've got concerned. One was we were out, and it was in 2017. We were out. I was fairly new to fishing offshore in the ocean, and I wasn't used to the weather here in Florida. And we had a thunderstorm come rolling up on us unexpectedly, and we went from 2 to 3 foot seas to 6 to 7 foot seas, and in a 22-foot boat, that's pretty substantial.
Yeah.
I had a buddy on board who's a rescue swimmer in the Navy, and he's like, "Yeah, I think we need to go in now." And he started getting sick. We got back
Oh,
into
man.
the inlet, and we kind of, I did a big sigh of relief once I got in the inlet. But before that, like, my wife never knew I was concerned. Like, my wife was concerned, but I was like, "No, we're good," and I got us
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, because you didn't want to get her
Yeah.
worried.
You don't panic. If you panic, once you panic, that's the worst thing you could do in any emergency situation is panic. That's when you'll lose your faculties, and it'll go from bad to worse real quick. So you just got to be able to kind of control and methodically go through what you're doing.
I have a quick
the other
question.
time was I was coming into the inlet, and we had an outgoing tide with an east wind. So the tide's going west, an east wind coming in, and it creates standing waves in the inlet because of the current going against the wind.
Yep.
And I came up onto one of the waves, and I got to the top, and I was full throttle, and the boat wasn't moving. And so I'm sitting there going, okay, what do I do now? Because I'm stuck. And if you're not careful, it'll nose you over and sink you, or you could slide backwards and it'll flood the boat. But I was able to kind of start working the boat back and forth, and kind of finally came up and over the wave, and then just kind of kept it full throttle until I got out of that situation.
Damn. So it was almost like a rip tide for a boat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that could be
It
kind
was
of scary.
the waves we had. It was 3 waves, about 4 foot high, real close to each other. We call them standing waves because they're not moving. It's just the wind and the currents keeping the waves in the same spot.
Yeah, that would be a little. Yeah, that would have me concerned for sure.
So with both of those experiences, I now monitor the weather real closely. I have an app that, if anything gets any storm gets in, a certain distance, I'm already looking and either headed back in or know a route around what's coming. But that's one of the important things is making sure you know the weather.
Oh yeah.
2 quick questions. What type? Because I've seen a lot of fishing apps out there. What type of fishing app are you using then for information? Best information you can get.
So I've kind of condensed a lot of my apps into one, but that's I'm part of a fishing club called Salt Strong. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of them, but it's like one of the largest online fishing clubs in the country. We have 55,000 paid members, and they have an app, and on that app they have tides, weather, wind. It has fishing spots. It's got 1/2-foot contour lines in the river and near shore. So that's one that I kind of go to most regularly. But when I go offshore, I have another app called Navionics, and that's good for navigating. When I want to look at tides, once again, I used to use the one called Tides, TIDES. For the tides, but now I use the Salt Strong one because it does the same thing. And then that I used to use was Windfinder. So that was another one I used for winds. But once again, Salt Strong has that same function built into it. So I've condensed down to 2 major ones. Can I go away for just 1 second? I got to open the door for my wife.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike.
Okay, sorry.
Yep. Is that you, Brett?
No, that's not me. It must be him playing the music.
Oh,
It's like hold music.
some John Legend.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was my wife's ringtone.
Oh,
Heck yeah. We just thought that was just how you greeted your wife every night when she got home.
yeah.
Yeah, she. I guess her friend drove her, so she didn't have the keys to open the garage door, so I had to go open it for her.
Yep. That happened with my wife and I the other day. She had her work car, and she forgot to bring her garage door opener, so she had to call me to get the garage door for her.
Now, my other question was, how close are you to the Bermuda Triangle?
That's well, we're towards one of the corners, but it's a long ways off from us.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the exact distance from where I'm at, but we're kind of like at one of the south corner of the Bermuda Triangle, but I'm pretty sure it's a little bit further north of us, because pretty much right across. Well, I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew, because I don't know the whole triangle. I've been to Bermuda though, but you know the island of 600 miles off the coast of New Jersey, the island of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
all I know is if it was anywhere near me, I'd stay the hell away from it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even fucking look in the direction. And it's weird because here in the UP in Lake Superior, you'd think I'd know the name of it here growing up in Michigan, but there's a part in Lake Superior. It's like a mini Bermuda Triangle, if you want to call it like that for right now, where ships just vanish and they sink to the bottom. And Lake Superior is the deepest lake, Great Lake here in around Michigan. So I got to see Lake Superior for the first time. Well, not the first time, but it was pretty scary to think about.
Oh, yeah.
So I just looked it up. It's 602 miles away from Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Okay, so yeah, he ain't fishing there often.
No.
So when you do you ever fish inland at all, like freshwater?
My wife and I started fishing inshore when we started teaching families how to fish. So we started fishing. We teach them at the Port St. Lucie Botanical Gardens. They have a pond, 2-acre pond, where they have bass, tilapia, Mayan cichlids, things like that. So that's where we start the families off, and then we take them to the intercoastal, and we'll do one event where we fish saltwater in the intercoastal, and then we'll do one event where we take them surf fishing. So we'll be fishing off the beach with them.
Okay, I think I saw some photos of that too.
Yeah, October was the first time we actually took anybody surf fishing. It was a really good time. We had out of 30 participants. We caught several hundred fish. The two cool ones where we caught two 4.5-foot bonnet head sharks. So the kids were really excited to catch some sharks.
That's what I want to catch, is a shark. Yeah, buddy, right there.
Yeah.
How often? Oh, go ahead.
How often when you're going out and you're targeting the fish that are in season that you're looking to take home, how often are you having predatory fish attack your fish? Because I know that's a lot more common in the ocean.
Yeah, well, it's gotten pretty bad here. Sharks and barracuda. I last time I went out to the Boyles searching for a permit, we ended up losing probably, I think, 15 rigs to sharks. Came back. I got a snook, and the head was like 14 inches, just was the head, and that's all I brought in, because the shark took the rest of it. So it does happen. It happens. It's been happening more frequently over the last few years than it did prior. And I know FWC now is looking at seeing if they can. They're doing research on the sharks right now to see about opening up seasons to try to start lowering the population.
What species of sharks are you
complaining about? The sharks.
What sharks are you having more issues with?
You name it. We've bull sharks are bad. Tiger sharks. We actually even have great whites here off our coast occasionally. Have you? I don't know if you've ever been to the website where NOAA tracks the sharks. Have you seen that website?
I've heard of that website though. Yeah.
So NOAA will satellite tag sharks, and just 2 years ago we had Catherine, which was one of the larger great white sharks. She's over 15 foot and 2,200 pounds, and we actually saw Catherine while we were out on the boat. So I'm in a 22-foot center console boat, and to see a 15-foot shark that's that big swim past is pretty amazing. And
I'd be scared.
the largest shark I'd ever seen. And I went to the NOAA site, and she had pinged within a mile of where we were fishing.
So yeah, it
that's
had to have been
scary
her.
shit right there.
Yeah, so I know for a fact. And the funniest part about that story was 15 minutes after we saw her swim past. Like I didn't know it was Catherine at the time. I just saw this is a massive shark, and I saw it swim past. About 15 minutes after that, I had my niece and my sister on board, and they got tangled up. One was on one side of the boat, one was on the other. And the currents were so strong when I untangled my sister's line and dropped it, it actually went back and got into the prop of the engine. So I had to jump into the water to untangle the line from the prop. And I'm sitting there, I'm in the water, and my sister's keeping watch, going, I'll keep an eye out for the shark. And I just looked at her and said, look, I can't get out of the water quick enough. Just don't tell me, because it'll be over before I know it. And she just kind of laughed.
Oh,
To hell with that.
Hey,
Oh
man.
man, if I saw the biggest shark I've ever seen in my life, I wouldn't feel comfortable getting in the water until I was about 20 miles away.
Yeah, well, you do what you got to do to make sure everybody gets home safely.
That's true.
Right. Oh man, that is
Yeah, so my wife refuses to get in the ocean here, because she goes, I see all the fish that we catch. And since we've been here, we've caught over 75 species of fish. So we've seen quite a few. We've ribbon fish. I don't know if you've ever heard of ribbon fish, but they're kind of long, flat, and they look mirrored finish. It's like a silver mirrored finish on them, and they got some nasty teeth on them.
Kind of like barracudas.
Yeah, they got big teeth like barracuda, but they're long and snake-like. But like I said, it's like a mirrored finish on their skin, the bright silver. It's actually a really cool fish.
I think I've seen those. What you're talking about?
Oh, well, we're about to pop it up here in a second. Is this it?
Yep.
That is it.
That looks like
an eel.
Yeah, that looks freaky, man. And that's in the waters near you?
Yeah, we catch them quite often.
Fuck that. I'm not getting in the ocean.
They're not that big, though.
They get about 3-4 foot. The ones that we're catching are about 3 foot. They're really good bait for fishing for wahoo. People love catching them to take them out, and they'll troll them behind the boat, and they'll catch wahoo with them.
Are wahoos the ones that are notorious for jumping out of the water and knocking people out?
Not that I'm aware of. I know the ones that jump the most are like barracudas jump a lot. You hear barracudas jumping, and like I almost had one take my wrist. I was pulling a fish out for my wife, and it literally jumped right under my arm, trying to grab the fish out of my off the line.
Oh wow!
What's a fish down there that it's like, it's your number one fish that you want to catch that you haven't caught yet?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I can't say that I have one per se. My wife she keeps the bucket list, and her bucket list right now is African pompano. So I've been trying to push her on an African pompano. We don't catch them often here, but they are caught here. So I do when I know they're in the area, I take her out looking for them.
What's African what?
African pompano.
Pompano?
Yes. POMP.
A-N-O. Pompano fish.
Yeah, it's African pompano. So there's a Florida pompano, which they only get about 19 inches. They look very similar to the permit. The African pompano are much larger.
Nope, I don't like that photo.
One of the cool things about Florida is they have programs to try to get people into fishing and things like that, the outdoors. And one of the programs they have, FWC has, is called Catch a Florida Memory. And so you can submit pictures of fish that you caught. It's twofold for them. They get to see what people are catching, how they're catching them, and it gives them an idea. But when you submit these pictures, you get certificates. You get certificates if you catch it, like what they call a real big fish. So, for example, if you catch a redfish over, I think it's a redfish over 36 inches, it's considered a real big fish, and you'll get a state citation. If you catch, they have a life list of 75 fish. If you catch all 75, I think as you catch 5 fish, you get like on the life list, and then 10, 20, and so on.
Okay.
And then if you catch a real big fish, you get on the life list, and then they do what they call get a slam. So a slam is catching 3 specific fish within a 24-hour period. If you get the slam, the real big fish, and life list, they put you into a drawing. And this year the drawing is for is a $4,500 kayak.
Oh,
That's
wow.
cool.
And then they do monthly drawings, and they also give, shirts and certificates. Like my wife and I have 8 different certificates right now from the state through that program.
That's cool. I wish we had stuff like that here.
Yeah.
But we don't have as many species, and like I don't think that it would be as easy to be creative like they are with you guys.
Yeah, well, so the Catch a Florida Memory is one specific for saltwater. They do have I'm trying to remember now. It's called I'm trying to remember the name of the program, because I don't freshwater fish often, so I'm not going after the trophy. I think it might be trophy catch. If you catch an 8-pound bass or larger, you get entered into a drawing, and they give away a bass boat every year.
Yeah, that'd be pretty tight.
So actually, last year they tagged 8 bass that were over 8 pounds, and they told everybody what lakes they were in. And if you caught the tagged fish, you got $10,000, and then you got put into the drawing for the boat.
That'd be cool. Yeah, in Florida, catching an 8-pound bass would be like catching a 4-pound bass here in Michigan. There's a lot more bigger bass down in Florida.
Yeah. Well, then if you go further south, you start catching peacock bass.
That's one of the peacocks are on my bucket list. I want to catch
bass?
peacock bass. It's like Florida is the only place that you'll catch them in the United States. They're not really native here.
And they don't do well further north of, say, Fort Lauderdale. I'd say West Palm Beach is as far north as they come. I've heard of some being caught in my area, but if we get a cold winter, it'll kill them off. But last year we actually had a 6-foot arapaima found in one of our rivers.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
People are bringing more of those, those fish from the Amazon back up here.
That's crazy. Those are intense. If they become native there, that'll be a bucket list fish as well.
I think that would be kind of in the same line though as a tarpon.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
They're built about the same.
Yeah, really powerful.
This fish looks like like from way down south, like Panama area.
Yeah, well,
so there's Lake Ida, which is about an hour and a half south of me, is known for having a lot of peacock bass.
I'm just trying to find a photo to bring up here.
Oh, you'll know it when you see it.
No. There's like a million photos, and I'm just trying to find like a decent one. You know what? Heck with it. We're just gonna go with this.
A lot of people go down to like South America and like Colombia and stuff to target them, but you can get them in the States. in southern
The ones
Florida.
that they're getting, I had a buddy that went to the Amazon this year for them, and he was catching 20, 30-pound peacock bass.
Yeah, dude. They fight so hard.
Those?
Yep.
Yep.
I feel like I heard something about Luke Bryan going down there catching something like this.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because it was like his dream to catch.
Yeah, there's charter captains down here that you can hire, and they're literally taking you into these little canals that are only maybe 20 foot wide,
Yep.
Behind people's houses.
Huh. Man, I feel like there's so many more fish out there that I haven't even.
Oh, dude, there's species out there that haven't even been discovered yet. It's the ocean, man.
To me,
Yeah,
it's like
I'm
space.
sure.
It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, well, what we always laugh because my buddies from Pennsylvania, when they come up, we're fishing with bait about the size of the fish they're catching.
Mm-hmm. That's what happened the first time.
When I'm offshore, I'll jig to catch some blue runners that are 12 to 16 inches long, and I'll throw those on a hook and throw them out. Caught sailfish with them, catch sharks. You never know what you're going to get when you're out in the ocean. You never know what's on the other end of the line. That's
a question that I wanted to ask because before we left was I besides the great white, everyone fears the great white. But is there what other shark though? It's like, you know what? I'm not messing with that shark.
I would say that the next one that I'd probably be
tiger
fearful of is the hammerhead.
Ooh, the hammerhead.
We were out and we had a 14-foot hammerhead come up and actually tap the side of the boat where our electronics were, our sonar.
Mm-hmm.
And he came up, tapped the back of the boat, hit the motor, and then kind of slowly swam off.
Wow.
That's the only other shark that I've had come up to the boat like that.
The one that I'm...
Oh, go ahead.
What I was just going to say was outside of sharks, squid, they scare the shit out of me too. They are scary.
We don't really see them much here. The large ones, kind of like, in the Pacific Ocean in California, you get the Humboldt squid, which are pretty large squid, and they can do a lot of damage. But I haven't seen or heard of any here in Florida like that.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
That shows my knowledge, but
you're an idiot. It's okay.
Florida ain't too bad then. But
yeah, I mean, like most of the squid that I see here are, maybe like that long.
Okay.
So good bait. Very big, but then again, the only squid I ever see is what I buy for bait.
Yeah.
I've never seen any out in the wild.
Oh, do you have seahorses down there?
We do. We have seahorses. We have actually just on Monday we had a man-o-war jellyfish come up right next to the boat.
What's that exactly? Like a giant?
Well, their tentacles are probably, I don't know, 10 foot long, if not longer, but they're like a blackish purple color. And they have this membrane on top, so they float on top, and then their tentacles are floating under the water, and they're poisonous. So.
Oh wow! Why do people get in the water down there? It sounds like it's just
Oh, dude, that's how it is, man. The more tropical it gets, the more shit there is that can kill you.
And the sharks come up. I had a shark take a fish off my line in less than it was less than knee deep water.
What?
And it was only 2 foot from the beach.
You had a shark come up that close to you in that shallow of water.
Yeah. I've seen them actually come out of the water, like they accidentally beach themselves.
Chasing the all the time. Go in the water down there. You're stupid. I'm not getting attacked by sharks. You're insane. I'm going on a boat on the beach.
Well, it's not just sharks that have teeth. So have you ever seen snapper? The teeth on snapper, they're like two triangle teeth on top and bottom, and they look like triangles. And I'll tell this story because it's kind of funny. My wife and I were out. It was about 3 foot seas, and we caught, I don't know, it was about a 5-pound mangrove snapper. And I'm trying to get the hook off out of its mouth. And when they bite, they just constantly are snapping. That's the way they get the name snapper. And it's snapping. Well, the way
It's like
a wave hit
piranha.
the boat and it hit my chest, and he actually bit through my nipple.
Oh man, he pierced your
And I
nipple.
couldn't get him to let go. I'm sitting there almost screaming. My wife's dying laughing. And I'm sitting there trying to get this snapper to open his mouth so I can get it off of me.
Oh man, that's brutal.
You got free nipple piercing, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my wife she couldn't stop laughing because I was just like, ah.
She
Didn't know
probably
my
didn't
voice got
realize
that
how much
high.
pain you were in.
How'd you
Yeah.
end up getting it off?
Finally, it opened his mouth and I was able to get it out. But I'm glad I
man.
didn't get hooked at the same time.
Oh yeah, that could have been a perfect. That could have been like 1,000 ways to die right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got so
man.
many stories like that.
That sounds painful, man. That hurts my nipples thinking about that.
Well, it happens so quick, you're not expecting it.
Right.
I'd rather have
A lot of
that than
times
get a
it's-
barb stuck in me, though.
Yeah. Well, talking about that, I had a catfish nail my hand, my left hand. It was the 24th of November. It was right after the Friday after Thanksgiving. It went 2 inches into my hand. And the catfish, their pectoral fins have barbs on them, so they don't just pull out. We were 7 miles offshore. I ended up surgically removing it myself. But the bad part about it was, let's see, I went to the ER that night because I knew the bacteria on them gets bad. On Sunday, I ended up back in the ER with a blood infection. And then
Oh wow.
3 rounds of antibiotics before I cleared all the infection out. And it was almost 2 months before I could actually fish because I had to wait for the wound to completely close. Because of the bacteria in the water here, sometimes you don't want to fish with an open wound.
Yep.
Like that. And so, yeah, it was almost 2 months to close up.
Oh, man.
So I've had that. But with that being said, I've been fortunate enough not to hook myself.
Yeah.
I've never had any bad ones. I mean, I've hooked myself a million times, but nothing that I couldn't tear out or, like I've never even had to push through and snip before. Like it's all been, just barely hooked.
Yeah, I've poked myself a lot of times with the hooks, but never got it deep. But like I said, that catfish was 2 inches into my hand.
That sounds painful. Nope. Yep. Not doing that.
Yeah. Well, I decided to stay out. We stayed out another 7 hours though. I took about 15 minutes to get myself, kind of recomposed. And then, I kept fishing because we had our friends in from Pennsylvania and I was like, we're staying out here, and we ended up catching a slot snook that day. So it was worthwhile.
Oh yeah. It was worth it then.
Yeah.
So,
well, kind of at that time frame, Mike, I'd like to ask before we close out the night, was there a story or anything that we didn't get to that you wanted to talk about tonight? Anything political you wanted to talk about? Any story, anything that you wanted to share before we close out the night?
Yeah. Well, so the one thing I like to share about it is our fishing ministry, the Real Blessed. And one of the cool stories that we're doing this year with it is we're not only are we holding the 6 events that we normally hold here in Florida. My wife and I were actually asked to go to an orphanage in Romania
Oh, cool.
to orphans how to fish. So my wife and I have raised we've raised half the funds we needed, but we've pretty much covered the cost of everything else. We've got fishing rods to take over there to leave with the kids. I've got a tackle box, and I'm filling it with tackle to take it over there to leave with the orphans so that they can fish after we teach them how to fish. So that's kind of something that my wife and I are kind of, like I said, adamant about. sharing our joy and our passion of fishing with others. So
And if somebody
Um,
wanted to contribute, to that, how could we find more information? Is that something we could find on your Facebook?
yeah, so I do have information on my Facebook page with information on how you can donate if they want to. You know, and we you know, appreciate anything that we can get.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
'cause it's a good cause. At least we believe it's a good cause.
Oh yeah, anything with fishing is a good cause, and helping people, getting more people involved, and helping them, you know, put food on their table. Stuff like that is cool. Are you guys accepting donations in terms of like fishing equipment?
We never turn a fishing equipment down, like I said, because not necessarily for Romania, but we also use it for our normal here in Port St. Lucie.
Okay.
I don't. Are you familiar with Bass Pro Shop? They have their spring where people trade in rods, get a discount off buying brand new rods.
Yeah.
When they take those donated rods, we actually get donated rods from our local Bass Pro Shop every year.
Oh, that's cool.
oh yeah.
So we always get fishing equipment, but like I said, I never turn anything down. I can always find some use for fishing equipment, you know, tackle, anything like that. We can always use.
Okay, that's cool.
When is this trip?
So the trip to Romania is we're leaving June 17th and we're flying home on June 26th.
Okay.
That's gonna be a good time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to share when we get back with everybody how it turned out.
Oh yeah, I'm anxious to hear how that went.
Oh yeah, man,
I'll
that's
definitely
cool.
make sure we stay in touch.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
really well.
definitely. Yeah, my in-laws are snowbirds, but I think they're in the Fort Myers area. I don't know how far away that is from you.
That's on the West Coast. We actually have some friends over that way. That's probably about a 3-hour drive from us.
Okay, so not too bad,
Hmm.
not too far. But yeah, we always love meeting people and maintaining relationships, and you know, it's always good to have a fishing buddy in every state. So
Very true.
yeah, thank you for your time tonight, and best of luck. Best of luck on your guys' trips, and as you guys continue to you know, do your thing and mentoring people and getting them acclimated to fishing. And just, yeah, thank you again for coming on and chatting with us tonight, man.
And thank you for your service.
Well, I appreciate you guys inviting me and giving me the opportunity to talk. I enjoy talking, so especially about fishing.
Oh yeah.
I know. Dan's the bigger fisherman than I am, and so he's a fisherman. I'm the hunter, and I'm teaching him some hunting stuff. He's teaching me fishing stuff, and I know we're gonna want to have you come back on the show and talk about more fishing because I know we can't fit it all in an hour.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you ever guys want to do something on site, let me know.
Oh, I'll definitely take you up on
We
that,
would
because
have to get video of you getting seasick, of course.
Oh yeah, I know, there's
it'd be him. It'd be him for sure. I'd be fine.
Hey, you know,
But salt water is
great
definitely
way of
not.
coming up fish.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, it's good chum for sure.
Oh
Hey,
yeah, thanks
the
for that,
morning
guys. I
you
really
go out on the
appreciate
boat,
it.
make sure you eat peanut butter.
Oh, I hate peanut butter.
Oh,
Oh,
you know
you
why
really
eat
will
peanut
hate
butter,
it then.
right?
Why do I hate peanut butter?
No, you know why you eat peanut butter when you're gonna get seasick like that?
Why?
Because of the
'Cause
sodium.
it tastes the same coming up as it does going down.
That's true. It'll look the same too.
Oh man. Okay.
On that note,
God, I don't know what to say to that. I really don't.
It's accurate. It's
Yeah.
it's a very potent, distinct flavor and consistency. Yeah, it don't change much.
Ugh.
all right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for having me on again. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. You have a great
Mike.
night.
Have a good night.
You also. Bye.
Oh man, talk about a fun show and talk about some fishing. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, man. I doing all that talking making me want to eat some good seafood and making me want to go out and fish.
Making me seasick just thinking about it. I don't get me wrong. I do want to go. I want to go out there and catch some cool fish. That's the only thing that freaks me out. Well, not just that. It's the seasickness freaking me out. Trying to get over that because I haven't been on water in a long time. Well, the only time I got seasick, I say seasick, but was on Lake Michigan when I was a kid. That, along with sharks and shit, all that scary crap in the water. Nope.
As long as I'm not in the water, that doesn't bother me too much.
Oh yeah, it's just a thought though. It's like, oh man, there's could be a 100-foot shark down there, and it's gonna kill me.
Mainly just the weather and how things can change so fast out there.
Yeah, that would freak me out too.
Definitely. Lake Erie scared the shit out of me the one time I went there trying to walleye fish.
Yeah,
We had bad weather. Yeah, I was definitely probably minutes from getting sick, but we ended up calling it and heading back in before we even got set up. But
oh,
I felt it that if we would have been out there for another couple minutes, I would have been tossing my cookies for sure.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's worth it.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I do really want to catch some cool fish though. That'd be pretty fun though.
Yeah, you have to come fishing with me this summer.
Oh, duh, we're gonna go fishing.
Yeah, I can. I can pretty safely guarantee that you will catch a bass with me this summer.
That's our goal, Dan.
A
Is to catch
largemouth
a largemouth and
and a smallmouth.
yes, a largemouth, a smallmouth, and I want to catch
A
at
quality.
least, huh?
I want you to catch a quality largemouth.
Yes,
I can almost guarantee that.
and I want to catch a quality pike.
Pike is I got a couple pike holes.
Those
Pike
are just my
fishing's fun. Yeah, I got a couple spots that we'll get a couple lures. Like the other night when we were talking fishing and I was going through my tackle box, man, I need to clean it up a little bit.
yeah.
Whenever I go to the river is when I lose like half of my inventory. Like you're always getting your stuff caught in a tree or caught on a rock or snapped off.
Mm,
Whenever I'm fishing in a lake, I feel like I never lose my stuff. I can
yeah.
always get to it. But in the river, all you do is just throw your money down the drain.
Oh, that's just awesome to know.
But it's fun. Like I like the river. It's just way different.
Yeah, I always wanted to fish a river and just see how cool and fun that would be.
We'll do both. We'll do both at some point this year.
Yeah.
You can kind of see what you like about it, but river is going to be the spot where we can get where we definitely are going to get into the pike, and then that's probably where we'll have a good chance of getting you a smallmouth.
Oh, fuck yeah, baby.
But yeah, man, I'm excited. The weather that we've had the last couple of days is making it feel like it's right around the corner.
Right? Feels like it's just about to start, man.
Yep.
Oh, I can't get the week going. Fishing starting soon. Turkey starting soon. We're going to be trying some new shit this year. That's for sure. Sure. Well, with that being said, went on for another late show tonight. Tomorrow it's our last show for Florida. Yep. And then we take our weekend, come back starting in Georgia.
Nice.
And all next week, we're packed with guests. And actually next Thursday, we had so many people from Florida that want to jump on the show. There's a guest next Thursday from Florida that's popping in.
Close enough.
Yep. So we have 3 guests next week from Georgia, and the last one is from Florida. So
cool.
Yep, we're staying down south, and then, but yeah, fun show. I'm interested to get him back on the show. I'm interested to hear how his trip went over there, and I'd like to talk some more fishing with him.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
We'll have to take him up on that offer, and we'll have to plan a trip.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Go down there and have a fish fry. Those fish tacos that he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I was ready to eat for sure. Like some fresh 2-hour-old fish tacos. Yeah. I'm all about that.
That sounds kind of good.
Oh, it is.
Well, you ready to end the show tonight, buddy?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready to get some shut eye and
bring it back tomorrow.
Hit the grind, yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. See you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.